The research outpost on Lyria 7 was usually quiet after sunset, but tonight the wind howled through the silver trees, carrying strange echoes. Ethan Hale, the only human engineer stationed in this remote sector, tightened his jacket as he walked toward the main lab. He had stayed up late repairing a damaged power conduit, unaware that something unusual was happening inside the medical wing. The lights flickered the moment he stepped inside. Ethan frowned. The power grid should have been stable after his earlier repairs. He tapped the side of the wall console, and the system shimmered back to life. As he moved deeper into the hallway, he felt a strange warmth in the air, like something recently awakened. He didn't know that the outpost had just finished thawing a stasis pod containing a young alien woman from the Lyran species, one of the galaxy's rare hybrids. The scientists had rescued her from a drifting capsule found near the asteroid belt, unconscious and alone. The medical AI estimated she was in recovery mode, but her physiology was unlike anything recorded before. For now, she rested in an isolated chamber, unaware of anyone around her. Ethan walked past the glass doors when he heard a soft cry. It wasn't loud, but it echoed enough for him to stop and look back. The sound came again, shaky, confused, almost frightened. Ethan stepped toward the nearest recovery chamber and peeked inside. That's when he saw her. She lay on the medical bed, waking slowly. Her skin glowed faintly with a soft golden hue, as if made of living light. Her long hair curled around her shoulders, shimmering like strands of liquid silver. She sat up suddenly, clutching her chest and breathing fast. Her bright teal eyes darted around the room, and when she saw Ethan standing outside the glass, she froze like a startled animal. Ethan lifted his hands gently. Hey, it's okay. You're safe. I'm not here to hurt you. But she didn't seem convinced. Her voice trembled when she spoke, and though he didn't recognize the words, the translation device inside the room activated automatically, converting her speech into human language. Human. What did you do to me? She cried. Her hands glowed faintly as she held her stomach. Why is my body reacting like this? Ethan blinked, startled. Me? I didn't do anything. You were found unconscious in a stasis pod. We brought you here to help you. She stared at him intensely. Confusion and fear mixed in her expression. Something changed inside me. I feel different, warm, unstable. My energy core is shifting. You must have done something. Ethan shook his head quickly. Listen, I'm just an engineer. I didn't even know you were in here until now. Her breathing grew faster, and she pressed a hand to the side of the bed to steady herself. She looked strong, but her movements showed instability, like her body was trying to repair itself, and didn't know how. I need you to calm down, Ethan said softly. If you panic, you might hurt yourself. She hesitated, then finally whispered, My name is Araya. Araya, Ethan repeated gently. Nice to meet you. I'm Ethan. She blinked in confusion. Maybe because he spoke so calmly while she felt so overwhelmed. Most humans she encountered in stories, if she even remembered any, were described as loud or reckless. Ethan was the opposite. His voice was steady, warm, and strangely grounding. Araya slowly pushed herself upright. Human Ethan, I do not understand what happened. When I woke, I felt a spark moving inside me. It reacted the moment you stepped near. Ethan stepped back, unsure whether he caused the reaction or whether her core was simply unstable. Maybe it's your recovery system adjusting. The medical AI said your biology is complex. Maybe it's reacting to the environment. But Araya shook her head. No. It reacted to you. The room became quiet. Ethan didn't know what to say. He looked down at the badge hanging around his neck, wondering if his engineering tools or energy scanners could have interfered with her physiology. He unclipped the device and held it out. Look, nothing here should affect you. I don't have any weapons or strange equipment. She stared at the scanner, then looked back at him with narrowed eyes, trying to understand his honesty. She seemed calmer now, but still confused. Her glowing skin dimmed slightly, showing she was relaxing. Araya's voice softened. If you came to check on me, thank you. But I must understand why my core changed. Ethan glanced at the console. Let me access your medical readings. Maybe the system detected something. Before he could step inside, the door suddenly malfunctioned and hissed open halfway, jerking violently. Sparks flickered along the panel. Ethan jumped back instinctively. The power grid had gone unstable again. Araya's eyes widened. What was that? The power system is failing again, Ethan muttered. I thought I fixed it earlier. Something is draining energy from the grid. She looked down at herself. I felt a pull, a connection to the energy around me. Is it possible my core is absorbing power? Ethan stiffened. Absorbing? Like draining the outpost? She didn't answer, but her silence was enough. The lights flickered again. Ethan quickly crouched by the door panel and opened the manual override. I'm getting you out of there, so you don't get hurt if the system shuts down. No, Araya said firmly. If the grid collapses, your facility will lose oxygen pressure. You are not safe either. Ethan paused, surprised she was worried about him. I can handle it. I've repaired worse systems. Araya stepped toward the door despite her unstable posture. You cannot fix this alone. My core may be the cause, and if I cannot control it, we both may be in danger. Ethan finally pried the door open enough for her to slip through. She stepped into the hallway slowly, her bare feet touching the cold metal floor. Each step she took left behind a faint shimmer of light, like tiny sparks that quickly dissolved. Ethan noticed. Is that normal for your species? No. She looked down at the faint trail she left behind. This is new. They walked together down the dim hallway. The wind outside pushed against the outpost walls, creating a low hum. Ethan checked a nearby console. The screen displayed fluctuating power readings, increasing and decreasing too fast to track. It's like something is pulsing through the system, Ethan said. Something alive. Araya placed her palm on the wall. The metal vibrated gently under her touch. My core responds to energy. If your system is unstable, I might be amplifying the reaction without meaning to. So you're like, linked to the outpost? Yes, but I do not understand why. Her voice grew troubled again. Human Ethan, is it possible that I connected to you when I woke? Did your presence cause my core to open? Ethan rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. I don't see how. I'm just a regular human. Araya stopped walking. No. Humans do not carry the type of resonance I sensed when you approached. Something in your body reacted with mine. Ethan turned to her, confused. Are you saying I changed you, just by being near you? She nodded, looking just as confused as he was. I felt a spark inside my chest the moment I saw you. Like my core recognized you. Before Ethan could respond, the hallway lights exploded into bright white rays, then shut off completely. Darkness filled the corridor, broken only by Araya's glowing skin. Ethan tried to steady himself, but the floor trembled with sudden vibrations. Somewhere deep in the outpost, a loud alarm began to echo. Araya reached for his arm instinctively. Human Ethan, your outpost is collapsing. I know. Ethan grabbed her hand so they wouldn't get separated in the darkness. Come on. We need to get to the central generator before the whole place shuts down. Araya followed him, her glowing presence lighting the way like a living lantern. She held onto his arm tightly, her earlier fear replaced by determination. But as they ran, Araya felt another pulse inside her chest, stronger this time, reacting directly to Ethan's touch. She looked down at their joined hands, then up at him in shock. Human, what did you do to me? She whispered again. But this time her voice carried something new, confusion mixed with something softer. Something she didn't understand yet. Ethan didn't hear her clearly over the alarms. He pulled her forward, unaware that every second they stayed connected, her core shifted again, reacting to him in a way that defied everything she knew about her own species. And Araya, breathing fast and frightened, realized one truth she couldn't explain. Her body was no longer reacting to danger. It was reacting to him. The alarms echoed through the metallic corridors as Ethan and Araya ran toward the central generator chamber. The outpost shook again, as if something deep inside was pulling at its structure. Araya's glowing skin lit their path, flickering each time another pulse moved through her core. Ethan's grip on her hand was firm, steady, the kind of grounding presence she wasn't used to. Ethan glanced back at her while running. "Are you okay? Your glow is getting stronger." "I do not know," Araya said. "But the energy inside me, it is responding to your touch. I cannot explain why." Ethan didn't know how to react to that. He just tightened his hold slightly so she wouldn't stumble in the shaking hallway. "Let's fix the generator first. Then we figure out why your core is going wild." Araya nodded, trusting him more than she understood. When they reached the central chamber door, Ethan tapped the override panel, but the interface glitched with strange symbols. The generator room was supposed to be stable, but something, maybe Araya's energy, was interfering with the systems. Araya stepped closer. "Let me try." Her fingertips glowed bright gold as she touched the panel. The door reacted instantly, sliding open with a soft hiss. Ethan blinked in surprise. "You did that?" "My species can link with energy networks," she said quietly. "But this should not be possible while my core is unstable." Inside, the generator chamber was filled with cables, glowing coils, and a massive humming core. But the central power conduit pulsed unnaturally, expanding and shrinking like a heartbeat. Ethan frowned deeply. "This isn't normal. The system is syncing to something alive." Araya touched her chest. "It is syncing to me." Ethan turned sharply. "How? You weren't even inside the system before." Araya looked down. "When I woke, I think my core reached out. It sensed something near. Something familiar." "Me?" "Yes." Ethan rubbed his forehead, trying to make sense of it. "Araya, humans don't have any special energy fields. Maybe not in most cases," she said, her voice soft but steady. "But when I saw you, something inside me reacted. You woke something in my core." The outpost trembled again, and sparks scattered from the conduits. Ethan hurried to the main console and began typing commands. "Okay. Whatever bond your core made, it's pulling power from the generator. If it overloads, this place will explode." Araya stepped beside him. "Then you must disconnect me." Ethan looked at her sharply. "Disconnect you? How?" "Break the link." She placed her hand over her heart. "If you push me away, if you increase distance, maybe my core will close again." Ethan shook his head. "Distance won't fix it. The bond already formed. It's not physical, it's internal." Araya hesitated. "Then, what do we do?" "First, I need to stabilize the generator. But I can't do this while it's tied to your core. The moment I shut off one circuit, your body might absorb the backlash." She swallowed, fear flickering across her expression. "Will it harm me?" "Yes," Ethan admitted quietly. "It could." Araya stepped closer to him, her glow softening. "Then we cannot let that happen. You must not shut it down." Ethan looked at her with frustration and worry. "If I don't shut it down, the whole outpost will collapse. It's not just about you or me, everyone here is in danger." Araya lowered her gaze. "I understand. But I do not want to harm you." "Why are you worried about me?" Ethan asked gently. Araya hesitated before speaking. "Because the moment you touched my hand, I felt something change. As if my core recognized something I never expected to find." Before Ethan could respond, the entire generator surged with a violent pulse of energy. Araya gasped and stumbled. Ethan caught her quickly, steadying her with both hands. Her skin brightened again. "It is reacting stronger. Your touch is making it intensify." "Then let go," Ethan said softly. "I cannot," she whispered. "If I let go, I will fall." Ethan didn't know whether she meant physically or emotionally. Maybe both. He didn't ask. Instead, he placed one arm around her to keep her stable and used his free hand to access the emergency stabilizer panel. Araya closed her eyes as another pulse passed through her. Ethan, what if my core bonded to yours? Ethan's heart skipped. Araya, humans don't have cores. No, Araya said weakly. But your presence carries something my species calls resonance. It is rare, almost impossible to find. So you think my resonance triggered your reaction? Yes. And now the generator is syncing to the same frequency. Ethan sighed. A perfect disaster. Her voice trembled. Do you regret coming near me? Ethan looked at her softly. No. I just regret your suffering. Another violent surge shook the whole room. The generator screamed with overloading energy. Ethan slammed a lever down to reroute power through a secondary coil. Sparks flew, hitting his arm. He gritted his teeth but didn't let go of Araya. She noticed. You are in pain. Nothing new, he said, forcing a grin. I've been burnt by worse equipment. Araya looked at him with intense emotion. I do not understand you, Ethan. You risk harm for someone you barely know. Someone I barely know is still someone worth protecting, Ethan said simply. Her core pulsed in response to his words. She felt warmth spread through her chest. Not frightening this time, gentle, almost peaceful. It confused her even more. Ethan worked fast, typing commands and switching controls. The generator's violent pulses began slowing, but not stopping. Araya touched the main coil gently, and it quieted even further. Ethan stared. It responds to you better than to me, because I am the cause of the instability, she said. My core is trying to correct itself. End quote. Then help me stabilize the whole thing. Araya nodded. Tell me what to do. Their teamwork became smooth within moments. Ethan adjusted circuits. Araya softened the energy flow with her glowing touch. Each time they worked in sync, the system calmed a little more. But Ethan noticed something else. Araya, your glow is fading. Araya, she looked at her hands. The golden shine was indeed dimming. I am using my internal energy to balance the system. If I continue, I may weaken too much. Ethan stepped toward her. Stop. Don't push yourself. Araya shook her head. If I stop, the system collapses. But if you continue, I will survive, she said, though her voice trembled. I am not fragile. Ethan gently placed a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to prove anything to me. Her breath caught. His touch was soft, careful, almost protective. The generator hummed beside them, easing bit by bit. Araya whispered, Human Ethan, every time you touch me, my core reacts. But I do not feel fear anymore. What do you feel? I do not know the human word. Something warm, something steady. Ethan didn't know what to say. He just held her shoulder a little longer before turning back to the controls. We're almost done. Just focus on keeping your energy stable. Araya nodded, closing her eyes as she placed both palms on the main coil. Light spread from her hands into the machine, calming it. Ethan finally pulled down the last lever, and the generator hummed into a stable rhythm. The alarm shut off. The outpost lights flickered back on. The violent pulses stopped. Silence filled the room, peaceful. Relieved, Ethan exhaled heavily. We did it, but Araya wobbled on her feet. Ethan caught her quickly again. Araya? Hey, stay with me. My energy, she whispered weakly. I used too much. You shouldn't have pushed yourself that hard, Ethan said, lowering her gently to sit on a nearby bench. You saved the outpost. That's more than enough. She looked up at him with tired eyes. Did I save you too? Ethan smiled softly. Yes, you did. Araya studied his face for a long moment. Then I am glad. He checked her pulse, though her species was different. He could feel a slow rhythm under his fingertips. Her glow was faint now, but still present. You need to rest, Ethan said. Come on. Let's take you to a safer room. Araya weakly shook her head. Wait. There is something I must tell you. Ethan paused. What is it? When my core linked with your resonance, it left a mark inside me. A bond. Her voice trembled softly. I do not know how to break it. And I do not know what it means. Ethan knelt beside her. We'll figure it out together. You don't have to be afraid. Araya's eyes softened. Ethan, when I asked earlier, what did you do to me? I spoke from fear. But now, she swallowed, now I think you awakened something inside me that was never dangerous, only sleeping. Ethan felt heat rise to his face. Araya, before he could finish, the floor trembled once again. Both turned their heads. But this time, it wasn't the generator. It was something approaching the outpost from outside. A deep roar echoed across the frozen landscape, shaking the metal walls and sending dust falling from above. Ethan stood quickly. What was that? Araya's eyes widened. That is not part of your outpost. Ethan helped her stand, supporting her weak form. Then the sound came again, closer, louder, and powerful enough to make the ground vibrate. Araya whispered, fear returning to her tired voice. Ethan, something is coming for me. The roar outside shook the windows again, deeper this time, like something enormous was scraping across the frozen plains. The outpost lights flickered as if scared of the sound. Ethan tightened his grip on Araya's arm to keep her balanced. She was still weak from stabilizing the generator, her glow faint and trembling. Ethan looked toward the exit. You said something is coming for you. What kind of thing? Araya swallowed, her voice barely steady. My kind calls them hunters. They track unstable cores. Cores like mine. When they sense the shift inside me, they arrive to reclaim or destroy. Ethan stared at her. Destroy? Why? Because an unstable core is seen as dangerous to our empire, she whispered. They do not understand resonance. They do not understand you changed me in a harmless way. Ethan felt a chill crawl down his back. So, they think you're a threat? Yes. She looked down. And when they come, they do not negotiate. The roar echoed again, much closer now. The outpost metal groaned under the weight of something landing outside. A shadow passed over the frosted window. Large, sharp, and shaped like a creature that blended metal and bone. Ethan stepped in front of Araya instinctively. You stay behind me. Araya tried to object. Ethan, you are a human. You cannot fight a hunter. No, Ethan said firmly. But I can protect you. His voice was steady, without fear. Even though his heart was pounding fast, Araya felt her chest tighten in a strange new way, not from her unstable core, but from the warmth she felt every time he said things like that. The scream of tearing metal burst through the outpost walls as the hunter clawed open a section near the east corridor. Sparks flew. Wind and snow blasted inside. Ethan held Araya close, while watching the shadow slowly enter the hallway. The creature was massive, its body covered in metallic plates that shifted like armor. Its eyes glowed deep red. Scanning the room with cold precision, it moved on 4 sharp limbs, but its upper arms split into long, blade-like extensions that scraped against the walls. Araya took a shaky step back. It is here for me, Ethan whispered. Then it's going to be very disappointed. The hunter growled, a sound like twisting steel, and its red eyes focused on Araya. She froze as its energy senses locked onto her weak core. Her glow flickered helplessly. Ethan stepped forward, blocking her from view. If you want her, he said, his voice low but unshaken. You go through me. Araya grabbed his arm. No, Ethan, you will die. Ethan didn't move. Maybe. But I'm still not letting it touch you. The hunter lunged. Ethan pulled Araya to the side as the creature's blade arms sliced across the floor, sending sparks against the walls. The impact shook the hallway so hard that Ethan nearly fell. Araya cried out as her core pulsed violently from fear and proximity. Ethan helped her stand behind a collapsed console. Araya, listen to me. Can you use your power? I am too weak, she whispered. My glow is fading. You don't need full strength, he said. Just enough to defend yourself. She shook her head. I do not know how to control it. Then we learn right now, Ethan said, refusing to give up. Your core reacted to me. Right? Use that. Focus. The hunter screeched and slammed through another wall, trying to reach Araya. Ethan threw a metal bar at it not to hurt it, but to draw its attention. It worked. The creature turned toward him with a mechanical hiss. Ethan, run, Araya begged. Not until you're safe. The creature jumped toward him. Ethan dove aside, rolling across the floor and hitting a wall painfully. He grunted and pushed himself up again, refusing to stay down. Araya's hands shook as she watched him fight something he shouldn't have been able to face. Her chest burned not from her unstable core this time, but from fear of losing him. The hunter advanced on Ethan, its bladed limbs raised. Ethan grabbed a broken shield panel from the ground and held it up. The creature slashed, knocking the shield out of his hands and sending him sliding across the metal floor. Araya screamed. Ethan! Ethan! Her core pulsed violently, reacting to her fear for him. Ethan groaned, trying to stand again. The hunter approached slowly, preparing to strike again. Araya suddenly felt something shift inside her, a spark. Warm and bright. Unlike the unstable pulses earlier. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't chaotic. It felt like a response to Ethan's bravery, to the bond they shared. Her glow brightened slightly. Ethan sensed it and looked toward her. Araya, focus on me, not on fear. Araya breathed shakily. I do not know if I can. You can, Ethan said, because you're not alone. The hunter lunged again. Araya lifted her hand instinctively. A burst of soft golden light exploded from her palm. It wasn't strong, but it was enough to push the hunter back a few meters. The beast screeched, confused and angry. Araya stared at her own hand, shocked. I did it, she whispered. Ethan, I did it. The hunter regained its balance and charged again, angrier than before. Ethan ran to Araya's side. Come on, use that again. Araya shook her head. I do not know how. It only happened because you... She stopped speaking. Her core pulsed again the moment Ethan took her hand. The glow around her brightened. Ethan said quickly, Your power strengthens when you feel connected. If that's the case, stay with me. He held her hands firmly. Araya's glow flared. The hunter screeched and lunged toward them both at full speed. Ethan braced himself, but Araya stepped forward, lifting both glowing palms. A wave of soft golden light burst outward, stronger than before, filling the hallway with warmth. It didn't burn. It didn't harm. It simply pushed the hunter with such force that the creature was thrown back through the broken wall and out into the frozen plains. The ground outside cracked, and the creature slid across the ice. For the first time, the hunter looked uncertain. Araya's glow slowly dimmed again as she collapsed to her knees. Ethan caught her immediately. Hey! Easy. Easy. You did great. Her breathing was shaky, but she smiled faintly. Ethan. I felt your resonance again. It allowed me to focus. The hunter outside let out another roar and began crawling forward again, refusing to give up. Its armor plates reformed. Glowing red with energy, Ethan looked outside and clenched his jaw. It's coming back. Araya shook her head weakly. I cannot fight again. Not without hurting myself. Or you. Ethan's mind raced. Running wasn't an option. Fighting wasn't either. They needed another way. He looked at the glowing plates on the hunter's chest and realized something. Araya, he said, can you sense that thing's energy core? Araya focused with what strength she had left. Yes. It is artificial. Controlled by a central frequency. Araya. Araya, what frequency? A dark resonance. Opposite of mine. Ethan smiled slowly. Good. Opposites overload each other. Araya blinked. What do you mean? If you can send even a tiny pulse into its core, you can short it out. But I do not have strength left. Ethan held her hands again. Then take mine. Her breath caught. Ethan. That is not safe. I do not know what will happen. I do. Ethan said quietly. And that's all that matters. Araya stared at him, her eyes filled with emotions she didn't know how to name. Her glow warmed again, soft and trembling. Human Ethan, she whispered. You are the reason my core awakened. If I take your resonance now, it will bond deeper. Then let it, he said gently. I'm not afraid. Araya closed her eyes slowly. Ethan, what did you do to me? Her voice softened. Why do you make me feel this way? But she didn't pull back. She let the bond form. A warm energy passed between them, gentle, steady, safe. Araya stood, supported by Ethan's hands, her glow rising again. Together, they stepped toward the broken wall. The hunter roared and charged. Araya lifted her hands. The glow from her body expanded into a bright wave of golden light, mixed with a strange, human-like warmth. The energy slammed into the hunter's core directly. The creature screeched as its red plates cracked and sparks flew. Its internal systems overloaded, collapsing under the opposing resonance. With a final metallic roar, it shattered and fell onto the frozen ground, unmoving. Silence returned to the outpost. The glow from Araya faded gently as she fell forward. Ethan caught her in his arms and held her close. Her voice was soft. Ethan, is it over? Yeah, he whispered. You did it. Araya rested her head against his chest, breathing slowly. I only did it because of you. Ethan brushed a hand through her silver hair lightly. No. You did it because you're strong. Araya looked up at him, her eyes glowing faint teal. Ethan, my core is no longer unstable. It feels still now. Balanced. Safe. Good, Ethan said gently. You deserve peace. She hesitated, then spoke quietly. And the bond. I cannot undo it. Ethan smiled slightly. I wasn't planning to. Araya blinked, surprised. You would stay connected to me? Of course, he said. You're not alone anymore. Her glow warmed once again, soft like sunlight. Human Ethan, you changed me. Ethan shook his head. No. Araya, you changed yourself. I just held your hand while you did it. Outside, the frozen plains became quiet again. The danger gone. Inside the outpost, Ethan and Araya sat together, her head resting peacefully against him. Their strange new connection no longer frightening but something gentle, warm, and real. Araya whispered one last time, but this time with no fear, no confusion, only softness. Ethan, what did you do to me? He smiled. Maybe something good. And for the first time, Araya agreed.